My beloved brothers and sisters, you have walked through the fire, endured the storms, and stood strong where others would have fallen. Many doubted you, many left you. Yet here you stand today, not by chance but because you were chosen. You were tested, not to break you but to prove you. Every trial was a preparation, every tale was watering the seed of greatness within you. The world could not understand your journey because it was never meant for them. It was meant for you. Now the time has come to reveal the truth. You are God's chosen ones. You have passed the test. The chains are breaking, the veil is lifting, and your season of silence is over. Today, I tell you, rise into your purpose. The world needs your voice, your light, your courage. You were never ordinary. You were marked for destiny, called for higher purpose, and anointed for this exact moment in history. Step forward with faith, walk boldly with power, and remember, you are not alone. Heaven is backing you. The universe is aligning for you, and no force can stop what God has already ordained. This is your time. This is your calling. You pass it, and now, it's time to tell you everything. The truth is, every chosen one must walk through the fire before stepping into the promise. The fire was not there to destroy you, but to refine you. You see, the trials you faced were not random. They were perfectly designed, tailor-made for your soul, meant to bring out the strength that was always inside you. Life has a way of stripping us down until we think we have nothing left, and in that emptiness, we finally discover the power we never knew we had. That was your test. That was your preparation. When the world rejected you, when the doors shut in your face, when even those closest to you walked away, you thought you were losing everything. But in truth, you were being set apart. Those moments were never punishments. They were invitations to grow, to become, to stretch into the person you were destined to be. The pain you endured was chiseling away the parts of you that could not carry the weight of your calling. Without those storms, you would never have been ready to stand where you are now. Think back to the nights you cried in silence, wondering why you had to go through so much. Think back to the times when the burden felt unbearable and you almost gave up. Yet somehow you didn't. Something deep within you refused to quit. That was the spark of your chosen identity. That was the unseen hand of God holding you, whispering, "Not yet, you're not finished." You're being prepared. Even when you couldn't see it, every battle was training you. Every rejection was redirection. Every delay was protecting you. And every heartbreak was making room for a greater love, a higher power, a deeper connection to your destiny. The test was never about what you lost, but about what you became in the process. Anyone can smile when life is easy, but only the chosen can keep walking when the path is dark. Only the chosen can stand tall when the weight of the world presses down. Only the chosen can endure betrayal, loneliness, and struggle, yet come out stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. What you carried was not a punishment. It was proof of who you are. You endured because you were built for this, and that endurance has given you authority. Authority to speak, to heal, to lead, and to rise where others have fallen. Do you see now why you were tested so fiercely? Do you understand why the road was so heavy? Because small callings don't require much, but great callings demand refinement. The fire you walked through burned away your doubts, your fears, your weaknesses, and left only what was pure and unshakable. Now you carry a strength that cannot be faked, a wisdom that cannot be taught, and a faith that cannot be broken. This is the reward of the chosen, not comfort, not ease, but power born of endurance. So when you look back, do not despise the pain. Do not curse the nights you thought you wouldn't survive. For those were the very moments that proved you. Those were the hidden classrooms where your spirit was trained for greatness. Every scar tells a story, and every story is evidence that you passed the test. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You didn't just endure, you emerged, stronger, brighter, ready, And now, after all you have faced, you stand here not as the same person you once were, but as the one you were always meant to be. You have been tested, and you have passed. There comes a time in every chosen one's journey when silence surrounds you, when nothing seems to move, and you begin to question if you've been forgotten. That season, that quiet, lonely stretch of life, was not abandonment. It was protection. It was preparation. It was the sacred pause before the unveiling. The hidden season is where the real work takes place, because when God has marked you for something greater, He does not put you on display before you are ready to carry the weight of that calling. And so He tucks you away, keeps you unseen, and shields you from eyes that cannot yet understand the magnitude of who you are becoming. Many of you know what it feels like to be invisible, to give your all and still not be noticed, to wonder why doors do not open no matter how hard you knock. But what you couldn't see then is that being hidden was your greatest gift, because exposure too soon can destroy what destiny is trying to build. You were not forgotten, you were being preserved. Like a seed buried deep beneath the earth, you were planted in darkness, unseen, unheard, uncelebrated. And yet, even in that hidden place, you were growing roots. You were becoming stronger than you realized. It's in the silence that character is formed. It's in the obscurity that resilience is born. When no one was applauding you, when no one was affirming you, you learned how to affirm yourself. You learned how to lean on faith instead of validation, how to keep walking without an audience, how to trust the unseen more than what your eyes could see. That hidden season was never wasted. It was shaping you into someone who could stand in the light without being blinded by it. Sometimes the hardest thing is to be ready for the world before the world is ready for you. You have vision, you have passion. You feel that fire burning inside, and yet nothing seems to move. That waiting can feel like punishment, but it is not. It is strategy. Because when the right time comes, when the moment finally arrives, everything that once felt delayed will suddenly align. The doors that refused to open will swing wide. The people who once overlooked you will not be able to ignore you, and the opportunities that seemed impossible will chase after you. That is what happens when the hidden season ends. But before that unveiling, you had to learn patience. You had to learn how to sit with yourself, how to silence the noise, how to hear the whisper of God above the roar of the world. The hidden season stripped away distractions. It revealed who truly stood by you, and it forced you to confront who you really are when nobody is watching. And that, right there, is the most powerful preparation of all. Because if you can remain faithful in the shadows, you will remain steady in the spotlight. So when you look back at those quiet years, those seasons of invisibility, I want you to see them differently now. They were not wasted. They were not empty. They were the sacred workshop of your destiny. While others were running ahead, you were being fortified. While others sought attention, you were being entrusted. And while others built castles on sand, you were laying a foundation that could not be shaken. That is why, when your unveiling comes, you will not crumble under the pressure, because you have been built in silence to stand in power. The hidden season was never meant to break you, it was meant to prepare you. And now that preparation is complete, the world is about to see what heaven has always known. There comes a moment when you finally begin to realize that you were never meant to blend in, never meant to be ordinary, never meant to live a life that looked like everyone else's. That's the moment when your true identity as one of the chosen begins to rise within you. And I know it hasn't been easy to accept. Because from the time you were young, there was always something about you that felt different. You didn't think like everyone else. You didn't move like everyone else. You didn't fit into the boxes they tried to put you in. And sometimes you even tried to make yourself small, to dim your light, to hide the very thing that made you unique, just so you could belong. But chosen ones don't fit. Chosen ones don't blend. Chosen ones are set apart. What you carry inside of you is not ordinary, it is an assignment, a divine imprint, a responsibility. And I know that's heavy, because the world teaches us to seek comfort, to seek acceptance, to chase approval. But when you're chosen, those things don't satisfy you. You can have what others call success and still feel a deep emptiness. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone, because your soul knows it was created for more. And that more is not about fame or wealth or power in the world's sense. It's about destiny. It's about impact. It's about walking in alignment with the very reason you were placed here. That is why life doesn't let you get away with ignoring your calling. Others may cut corners, others may settle, but you cannot. Something inside of you won't allow it. Every time you tried to settle, you felt restless. Every time you tried to run, something pulled you back. Every time you tried to silence that inner voice, it only grew louder. That's not by accident. That's by design. Because chosen ones cannot escape who they are. You may wander, you may resist, but eventually you return to yourself. You return to the truth that you were called, marked, appointed, and entrusted with something bigger than yourself. And with that identity comes a weight, yes, but also an incredible power. A power to influence hearts, to shift atmospheres, to break cycles that have held generations captive. You carry authority not because of titles or positions, but because of the battles you've survived, the wisdom you've gained, and the light you refuse to let die. That authority is not about lording over people. It's about serving them. It's about walking into spaces and elevating them. It's about healing with your words, lifting with your presence, transforming simply by being who you are. And let me tell you, the world will try to make you doubt that. The enemy of your soul will whisper lies, telling you that you're not good enough, that you're not ready, that you don't have what it takes. But the very fact that you're still standing here is evidence that you do. You survived what was designed to break you. You endured what others couldn't. You kept going when you had every reason to quit. That's proof of who you are. That's proof of the power you carry. So stop apologizing for being different. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop questioning the very thing that makes you extraordinary. You were chosen to shine. You were chosen to lead. You were chosen to be a light in the kind of darkness that many people cannot even see. And if you ever doubt it, remember this: the fact that you feel the weight of your calling is the greatest evidence that it's real. Because destiny always presses hardest on the ones who are meant to rise. And now, it is your time to rise into who you've always been. There comes a moment in the journey of every chosen one when the silence begins to break, when the hidden season begins to shift, and something deep within you knows it is time. That moment is the awakening. It is not loud, though the world around you may roar. It is not always dramatic, though its impact shakes everything you've ever known. The awakening is that inner voice that says, I cannot keep living like this. I cannot stay where I've been. I was created for more, and now I must rise. It is the stirring of your soul, the undeniable push of destiny that refuses to let you remain asleep any longer. For so long, you were walking through life, carrying the weight of unanswered questions, carrying the burden of wounds that never seemed to heal, carrying the silence of a world that didn't see you for who you really are. But then, one day, something changes. The fog begins to lift. The heaviness begins to break. And for the first time, you start to see clearly, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. You see that every pain was a teacher. Every delay was protection. Every rejection was direction. And suddenly, what once felt like punishment now feels like preparation. That is the awakening. The awakening is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you always were. The power was inside you all along. The wisdom was in you all along. The light was in you all along. Life may have tried to bury it, pain may have tried to dim it, people may have tried to silence it, but it was always there. And when the awakening comes, that light bursts forth. You stop asking for permission to be who you are. You stop waiting for validation to move forward. You stop apologizing for the very gifts you were given to change the world. The awakening makes you bold. The awakening makes you brave. The awakening makes you whole. But let me tell you something about the awakening. It is not always comfortable. Because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you know who you are, you cannot go back to pretending you don't. Once you taste freedom, you cannot accept chains. And so the awakening will require you to let go of certain people, certain habits, certain mindsets that can no longer travel with you. It will strip away illusions. It will expose what's real and what's false. It will demand that you step into your life fully, unapologetically, and without hesitation. And yes, that will cost you. But it will give you more than you could ever imagine. Because when you awaken, you align. And when you align, the universe responds. The same doors that refused to open suddenly swing wide. The same paths that seemed blocked suddenly clear. The same dreams you thought were dead suddenly come alive again. That is the power of walking in your awakening. It doesn't just change you, it changes everything around you. You become a magnet for destiny. You become a vessel for miracles. You become a living testimony of what happens when someone finally chooses to see themselves the way heaven has always seen them. And maybe the most beautiful part of the awakening is this: you realize you were never alone. Every step you stumbled, every tear you cried, every battle you fought, heaven was with you, guiding you, carrying you, preparing you. And now, as the awakening rises in you, you begin to feel that presence stronger than ever. You walk differently. You speak differently. You breathe differently. Because you are not just living, you are walking in purpose. This is the awakening. And once it begins, nothing in your life will ever be the same again. There comes a time when the stirring inside you can no longer be contained, when the awakening moves you from realization to action. That is the call to rise. It is not just a whisper in your soul, it is a trumpet sounding, urging you to step forward into the very life you were born to live. And let me tell you something. Answering that call is not optional for the chosen. You cannot stay seated in places you've outgrown. You cannot keep hiding in the shadows when your light was meant to shine. The call to rise will not let you rest until you stand in the fullness of your destiny. And I know it feels daunting. I know it feels heavy. You've carried the weight of expectation, the fear of failure, the uncertainty of what stepping out might cost you. But chosen ones, hear me. You have already paid the price. Every battle you fought, every test you endured, every season of silence and pain, that was the cost. You have been forged in fire, and now you are ready to carry the flame. The call to rise is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be willing. It is asking you to trust that the same power that carried you through the storm will carry you into your purpose. Rising does not always mean a grand stage or a spotlight. Sometimes rising means speaking when your voice shakes. Sometimes it means standing firm in your truth when everyone else bows to the lie. Sometimes it means using your story, the one you once thought was broken beyond repair, as a lifeline for someone else who is drowning. Rising is not about position, it's about posture. It's about choosing to stand tall, even when the world tells you to shrink. It's about showing up as yourself, fully, unapologetically, and courageously. And here's the thing about rising: it inspires others. When you rise, you give permission for those around you to rise too. Your courage awakens theirs. Your light ignites theirs. Your boldness reminds them of their own. This is why your rising matters. It's not just for you. It's for the ones watching you silently, the ones who see your strength and suddenly believe they can find theirs. It's for the child who needs proof that resilience is possible. It's for the friend who lost hope but finds it again when they see you walking in yours. Yes, the call to rise will require sacrifice. You may have to let go of the comfort of the familiar. You may have to walk away from circles that cannot support your vision. You may have to stand alone at times, but standing alone with purpose is better than standing with the crowd in compromise. The rise will cost you, but it will also reward you. It will give you freedom. It will give you peace. It will give you the unshakable joy of knowing you are living in alignment with why you were placed here in the first place. So when the call comes, and I promise you it already has, do not silence it. Do not ignore it. Do not delay it. Because the world is waiting for what only you can give. The voice you've been hiding, the light you've been dimming, the gift you've been questioning, this is the moment to bring it forth. The world is not in need of more imitation. It is in need of your authenticity. It is in need of your vision. It is in need of your truth. And no one else can rise in your place. The call has been sounding. It has been echoing through your spirit. And now is the time. Now is the moment. Rise, chosen one, rise. There is a moment when everything you have walked through begins to make sense. A moment when you realize that not one tear, not one heartbreak, not one delay was wasted. Every single step, every valley, every climb, every sleepless night, it was all leading you here. Because what has been spoken over your life, what has been ordained for you, what has been written in the blueprint of your soul, cannot be stopped. The promise is alive, and the promise is for you. For too long, you may have believed that the setbacks disqualified you, that the mistakes erased your chances, that the pain meant you had missed your moment. But chosen ones, hear me. Nothing can cancel what heaven has already decreed. Nothing can stand in the way of what has been divinely prepared. Not the opinions of others, not the failures of your past, not even your own doubts. When God says yes, no one and nothing can say no. And the very things that looked like obstacles were actually instruments shaping you for the fulfillment of that promise. You see, destiny is not fragile. It doesn't fall apart because life got messy. It doesn't dissolve because you took a wrong turn. Destiny bends, it stretches, it weaves through every experience, and still finds its way to bring you into alignment. That's why you are here now, standing with a strength you didn't know you had, with wisdom you could not have gained any other way, with authority you earned through endurance. The promise has not died. It is rising in you right now. The fulfillment of the promise is not about waiting for some distant future. It begins the moment you say yes. The moment you decide to stop running from yourself, stop doubting your worth, stop hiding your light. Because the promise is not somewhere out there. It is within you. It has always been within you. The life you were created for, the purpose you were designed to carry, the power you were destined to walk in. It's not coming, it's here. It's already alive in your spirit, waiting for you to claim it. And yes, the world will test you even now. Yes, voices will try to convince you that you are not ready, that you don't deserve it, that you should stay small. But those voices do not have authority over you. They never did. The only authority that matters is the one that has been given to you from the beginning of time. That authority says you are chosen. That authority says you are anointed. That authority says the promise is yours, and nothing can stop it. Look at your life for a moment. Think of all you've survived, the places where you thought it was over. The nights when you thought you couldn't make it, the battles you faced that no one even knows about. Yet you are still here, and that, in itself, is proof that the promise is still alive. You were kept for a reason. You were sustained for a reason. You were chosen for a reason. And that reason is unfolding now. The season of hiding is over. The season of silence is over. The season of preparation is complete. This is the season of manifestation. This is the season when the world will see what heaven has always known about you. This is the season when the promises spoken in secret will be fulfilled in public. No power can stop it. No force can block it. No fear can delay it. What is meant for you is coming to you, and it will not miss you. So lift your head. Open your heart. Step into the fullness of who you are. The promise has been fulfilled, and this is your time.